You ever pull up to your house after a long day and see some random lady in a floral dress, power drill in hand, just going to town on your front door lock? Because I have. And let me tell you, it's the kind of thing that makes you question if you've slipped into some alternate universe or if you're just the last person in town to find out you're living in a sitcom. Yeah, that happened. Now, before you start thinking, oh, this is probably one of those wild viral videos with a twist at the end, let me just say I wish. This was real life, my actual Tuesday afternoon, and I was not prepared for the level of crazy about to unfold. So grab a drink, settle in, and let me take you through a story of paperwork paranoia and the world's boldest home invader. Because apparently my life is a cautionary tale for every homeowner out there. See, I work as a paralegal, and if there's one thing 8 years of slogging through legal paperwork has taught me, it's that you need to keep records of absolutely everything. Deeds, insurance, mortgage repair, receipts, neighbor's phone number. If you've got it, I've probably got a copy stashed somewhere. My boss always says, the difference between winning and losing comes down to documentation, and after what happened, I believe it even more. Anyway, after saving up for what felt like half a lifetime, I finally bought my own house. A little beat-up place in a blue-collar neighborhood. Nothing fancy, just folks who look out for each other. I spent 2 years fixing it up every weekend. Learned to tile paint, fix fixtures, you name it. That house was more than 4 walls and a roof. It was proof I could build something myself. My neighbors are solid people. They wave when they see you bring your packages in, and nobody's weird about where you park. It's the American dream on a discount. So last Tuesday, I was supposed to be in court all morning helping prep for a property dispute hearing. Funny, right? Ironic in hindsight. But the case got rescheduled, so I left work early, dreaming of working in my garden, maybe catching some sun for once. I turned down my street, and there it is, a neon yellow compact car parked right in front of my place. Annoying, but hey, street parking's a jungle sometimes. But what's weird is I see a woman crouched by my front door, elbows deep in a bag of tools, and I hear clear as day the whirring of a power drill. Now, you gotta understand, my first thought isn't home invasion. It's delivery gone wrong, or maybe a maintenance worker at the wrong address. I walk up and swear to God this lady doesn't even flinch. She looks up, rolls her eyes and goes, "Can I help you?" Like I'm interrupting her important afternoon of, I don't know, felony home improvement. I tell her as calmly as I can, "Ma'am, this is my house. What exactly do you think you're doing?" She stands up, purse on one arm, tool bag on the other, and says, "Actually, you need to leave. This is private property." She says it so confidently that for a second I check my own address. But my car's in the driveway, my garden gnomes peeking out from the bushes. I know where I live. At this point, I do what every good paralegal would. I pull out my phone and hit record. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that documentation is everything. I make sure to state on video, this is my house. I did not give anyone permission to change the locks. She gets defensive, says she bought the place in a private sale and has papers to prove it. She's absolutely certain, like cult-level certain, that this is now her house. She whips out a manila folder, shakes it at me, and says, everything's legal above board, and I can call the cops if I want because she's not doing anything wrong. So I call 911 trying to explain that there's a woman with a power drill changing my locks because she says she bought my house. The operator sounds as baffled as I am, but says they'll send officers over. While we're waiting, this woman keeps right on working, just changing locks in the sunshine, cool as a cucumber. I ask where she thinks I live if this is her house. She says maybe I should have read my lease better. I tell her I own the place and have the deed to prove it. She laughs, says she bought it last week from some guy who had to sell fast. Can't remember his name, but it was a cash deal and she got a great price. Yeah, right. 15 minutes later, the cops roll up, 2 of them, one seasoned, one rookie. They look between me and this lady, probably wondering who's crazier. She jumps in first, spinning this wild tale about how I'm a squatter, harassing her. She just wants to feel safe in her new home. The older cop asks for our IDs. Mine matches the address hers is for somewhere across town. Then comes the showdown. She proudly lays out her documents on the hood of the squad car. I've seen enough fake paperwork to know bad formatting when I see it. Her deed is on regular copy paper fonts all over the place, and the county seal. Looks like someone printed it off a meme site. I show them my digital deed, crisp scan, proper seal, everything matching the county records. Mortgage, app, insurance, utility bills, even old photos. The cops nod slowly, piecing it together. She gets desperate, says my files are fake. Anyone can Photoshop a deed. The older officer asks for the name of her supposed seller. She stumbles, throws out a random name that doesn't match anything on record, says she paid cash and lost his contact. The rookie runs a check and surprise, I've been the owner for 3 years. No sales, no transfers. That's when the switch flips. She starts screaming about conspiracies, accuses the police of helping me steal her home, demands they arrest me. The officers stay calm, but when they mention the documents look fake, she totally loses it, clutching her bag like it's the last lifeboat on the Titanic. They search it and get this. They find 2 more sets of fake deeds, a USB full of templates and a notebook with a list of addresses and property values. She claims she's just researching real estate. Sure, and I'm the Queen of England. They arrest her on the spot for fraud and attempted theft. She's shrieking about how she'll sue the department. I'm the real criminal. The whole neighborhood probably heard her. As the squad car drives off, the older officer tells me this isn't the first time he's seen a scam like this. He says it's usually vacant houses or rentals, but crooks are getting bold. He suggests I change my locks, keep an eye out for anyone else, and says the DA will follow up. So I call a locksmith. As he's installing the new hardware, I'm replaying it all in my head. This woman was so sure, so convincing. It was like she'd convinced herself of her own lie. My boss thinks it'll make a great office case study, says this kind of property scam is on the rise, and warns me it's not just about old-school break-ins anymore. People target homes that look empty or have had recent sales just waiting for a window to move in and start their con. A detective calls the next day, says the woman's tried this at least 3 other times. In one case, she almost fooled an elderly homeowner before family stepped in. Another time, she moved furniture into a vacant place before the real owner showed up. My case is strong because I had everything organized and recorded. Most people don't, and that gives scammers an opening to try and take over. Weeks go by and, I double-check the locks, peek out the windows a little more. The detective calls back a month later. She pleaded guilty, going to jail. Turns out this was her main hustle: find a house, fake some documents, and either squat or demand move-out money from the real owner. It works just often enough that she kept rolling the dice. Here's the kicker. Property law is complicated, and most folks don't have their deed handy when someone challenges them. That's what scammers count on: confusion, hesitation, and time. I was lucky because I had my stuff together, but the detective said too many people try to deal with it themselves and it can turn dangerous quick. A few months later, my boss has me give a presentation at work. My number 1 advice: keep digital copies of your documents. Document any weirdness around your property. Don't try to confront scammers alone. Call the police and let them sort it out. Being organized isn't just type A anymore, it's home security. You know what's funny? The locksmith who came out still jokes about my case whenever he sees me. 30 years in the business, never had to change locks because of a fake deed before. He said it sounded like something out of a movie, but for me it was just another Tuesday gone sideways. All because I kept good records. I never figured out why she picked my house or if she would have tried my neighbors if I hadn't shown up. But one thing's for sure, being prepared turned what could have been a legal disaster into just a really wild story. When people ask about home security, I tell them locks and alarms matter, but the real power is in the paperwork. Possession is 9/10 of the law, not when you've got a digital trail and know how to use it. So let me throw this out there. Have you ever had someone try to take what's yours, house car job, just by being bold and telling a better story? Ever dealt with a scam that got way too real, or know someone who lost something because they weren't ready to fight back? I want to hear your wildest stories. Drop them in the comments below. And hey, don't forget, protect yourself. Stay organized and always trust your gut when something feels off. If you got something out of this story hit, share your own tale and let's talk about what real justice looks like, who gets to decide, and how far you'd go to protect what's yours. Because sometimes the scariest thing isn't the crime itself, it's just how easy it is for someone to act like they own your whole life.